Welcome to A2NewTech. Happy New Year. Happy 2019, everyone. Looking forward to another year full of meetups with you all and with this group. I'm your host, David Nesbitt for A2NewTech, and I've been in Ann Arbor now for about 10 years. Came to school here for undergrad in 2008, and then stuck around, spent about 4.5 years working in startups in Ann Arbor, and then now manage a portfolio of academic software tools at U of M. And this meetup has been running since 2009, so almost as long as I've been here. So this will be kind of the 10th anniversary year of A2NewTech this year, which is pretty awesome. And so since 2009, we've had over 100 meetups, over 350 companies that have pitched here, and last year we had almost 60 pitches here. So we're here every third Tuesday of the month with 4 to 5 pitches of different companies, and tonight we have a great lineup of companies ready to pitch to you. So looking forward to jump into that soon. Question to kind of get a sense of who's in the room. This is always fun to do. Who's a first timer at A2NewTech tonight? There'll be a lot of you, so don't be shy. Awesome. So maybe actually a little less than usual. Usually it's about half of the group is new. Who is hiring for a position, or their company's hiring for a position they know about? Okay, a few people in the audience. Who's looking for a position? Okay, a couple more. Maybe some that didn't raise their hands. So maybe some of you connect by the end of the night. I definitely encourage you to come to the after meetup networking time at Pizza House. That time is a really valuable time to get to talk to more of the people that are here in the room. There's a lot of folks here. You'll connect with a few afterwards, but I think invariably that time at Pizza House seems like a time when people are really able to connect more, build more relationships, meet more of the people in the room. So I encourage you to make it out there. Especially if you're looking to connect with people about looking for jobs or hiring, that type of thing. So this monthly gathering time, again, like I said, every third Tuesday, is great for us to learn about what's going on out in the Ann Arbor tech community. We'll also hear some pitches from companies outside of Ann Arbor, so the Michigan area. You can meet other people here who are building the future of tech in Ann Arbor, and so that's valuable to build these relationships to help build the type of community that we want to live and work in here in Ann Arbor for technology. And I encourage you in the middle of that, while you're here, you're probably here to learn some things, maybe again looking for a job, looking to hire someone, wanting to promote something, but I encourage you to think about how you can help someone else who you meet tonight. There's a lot of people here who are looking for a next connection or looking for advice on something that they're building, and so try to help someone out, make them a connection or give them some help tonight. Afterwards, we will have free pizza at Pizza House, courtesy of Ann Arbor SPARK, so come join us for that. Grab some free pizza with us, and that's just a couple blocks away, and so we'll walk there after the meetup at around a little bit before 8 o'clock. But in the next month before we meet again, a great place to stay connected with the Ann Arbor tech community is our Slack channel, and you can find that at madeina2.com/Slack, and you can join that there. And so that's a place where the tech community at large in Ann Arbor can post general announcements. There's channels for a variety of topics and open jobs and lots more things like that. So if you want to stay more in touch than just this one monthly meeting, I encourage you to check out that Slack channel and join and participate there, post events, and it's a great place to share info. I also want to take just a moment to thank some people and organizations who help make this event happen every month. You don't run for 10 years without getting some help, and these are some of the people that have helped make it happen. A2 Geeks is a nonprofit dedicated to making Southeast Michigan and Ann Arbor a great place for geeks and creatives to live, work, and play. Roger Rayle from R2 Vive usually does our videos sitting right here. It's kind of weird to not have him there. He is not able to be here tonight, but we'll still have video for the event provided by the law school, so that's why we have these mics here to get sound. But if you want to hire Roger for the type of work he does here and filming our meetup for us every month, he posts it on YouTube for us. And is super helpful. If you want to hire him for that type of work or anything else with video, look up R2 Vive. You can Google it and it'll come up and you'll see his website. And so I encourage you to reach out to him if you're interested. We will have a video link to this meetup posted on the event page afterwards. And so I'll be getting that from the law school who's helping us out with it tonight. I also want to thank co-organizers for this. I'm right now one of the organizers for A2NewTech, but there's a lot of people that have helped to curate presenters and make this event happen and plan it for the last 10 years. So I want to say thank you to Zach Steinler, Doug Song, Scott Gosey, David Bloom, David Corcoran, Brian Kelly, Brooke Boyle, and more. So those are folks that have put time in to make this event a success over the last 10 years. I also want to say thank you to the Entrepreneurship Clinic at the U of M Law School. Dana Thompson is the founding director of Michigan Law's Entrepreneurship Clinic, and they actually help us get this space every month, which is super helpful, so we have a room to fit all of these people. And if you're a company in Michigan, especially a startup, you can get free IP, corporate, and various legal services from law students here at the university. And so if you're interested in that, you can contact Laura Schultz, who's the clinic administrator, to learn more. So I definitely encourage you to take advantage of that. And then the last thank you, I mentioned already that Ann Arbor SPARK sponsors our pizza for the networking time. They've been doing that for a lot of months now, since last year. And Ann Arbor SPARK, if you're not familiar with them, they're committed to bringing together organizations and individuals to support the growth of companies and the creation of jobs. And so we appreciate all those people and those organizations who help make this event work every month. So our agenda tonight, we're going to run until a little bit before 8 p.m. usually here. And that will start with 5 companies giving a 5-minute pitch each. And then each of them will have 5 minutes of Q&A from you guys afterwards. And so while you're listening to these pitches, think of the questions you might want to ask them, maybe write them down. And then you can ask that in the Q&A pitch time after each of the pitches. We'll then have, after the pitches are finished, a community announcements time. And so if you have an event that you're wanting to promote, another meetup you want to tell people about, or you're looking for a position or a collaborator on something, you can think about your community announcement right now. And then at the end of the pitches, we'll have people line up over along this wall and come up one at a time to make their announcement for that. And we usually ask you to keep those to 1 to 2 minutes, but encourage you to make an announcement. We want to get the word out about the things that are happening here in town. Another thing to note, if you have a question to ask during that question and answer period for the pitches, we ask that you raise your hand. We'll call on you. We'll have a variety of people that are probably interested in asking questions at one time. And then it'll be tempting to give feedback, to give ideas or ask if you thought about this, or to suggest something to them. But I encourage you and ask you actually to do that in the form of a question. Give them something to respond to. You can always talk to them afterwards and give them suggestions, but please in the Q&A and make it a true question and then something that they can answer for the rest of the group as well. Make sure to silence your phones. Forget to mention that some months, and this group is good about that, but make sure to silence your phones for the pitches so they're not interrupted. And then if you are tweeting about the event, make sure you use the hashtag A2NewTech. You can use that on Instagram too, if you're Instagramming. And the last thing I'll say, for pitches and announcements tonight, because we are doing this U of M Law School stream from the video camera on the ceiling, we are using these cameras, so if you are pitching, make sure to stay back here in this zone. Just anywhere behind the desk is fine, so we'll pick you up. And then same thing for the community announcements. And if I forget that, someone remind just to step back here when you make it. That way it'll make it on the video. All right, I don't think I forgot anything. I think that's about everything. I'm going to have a timer up front. So for presenters, you'll be able to watch the timer right there, 5 minutes for your pitch. And then I'll kind of gently cut you off at the end of it if you're going over. And then we'll have 5 minutes again for the Q&A. All right, let's bring up our first presenter. And so tonight, presenting first, we have Shapelog. So Brian Hayden is here. And Shapelog is an award-winning fitness technology startup founded in Ann Arbor in 2016. So Brian Hayden will be pitching. Back in 2009, this is a fun fact. Well, Brian, we'd like to get a fun fact about these companies to share kind of as they're plugging in and getting set up. But back in 2009, Brian started a co-working space in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
I got to start by saying how much I love A2NewTech. I don't come as frequently as I'd like to come, but for those of you who are here for the first time, step up and give a community announcement. Use it, talk to David about pitching if you've got something you're working on. Every time I come, I get a ton of value out of it. I meet new people. It's like the friendly front door for entrepreneurship in Ann Arbor. And just when I think I know everybody in Ann Arbor, I come and I literally know nobody here. So that's really cool. Okay, so flashback 2015. My neighbor, Nolan, leans over the fence and he's like, I invented something over the weekend. I've been thinking about it for years, but I finally took the time to build this little device, and it goes onto a weightlifting equipment. And it's like a Fitbit, but for weightlifting. What do you think? And I was like, I have two thoughts. One is you're way smarter than I am. And two, you're totally going about this the wrong way. You don't start a company by inventing some device. You start with a customer need, and you work your way back to a solution. Lean startup, man, come on. But Nolan is like really, really smart and really, really interesting. And so I kept thinking about it, and I was like, well, you know, maybe we could go back and see if people want to buy this thing. And so I had a perfectly good job, but I decided, let's go to the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas. We'll set up meetings. And so we showed maybe like 15 or 20. Oh, you can't play it. Oh, no, you can. So that's Nolan. And so this is a little video we made in January of 2016 before we went to the Consumer Electronics Show. It shows what the device does. We're measuring the force, and you can see that that's how we figure out how much weight you're lifting, how many reps you did, your range of motion, your power, your work. There's like all these advanced metrics. So we take that video, and we went to the Consumer Electronics Show. I was kind of skeptical, but we met with like all the big wearables, equipment, fitness companies, and they were unanimously super intrigued. And on the plane ride home, I was like, crap, we got to start this company. So we started the company, 2016. I spent the next 2 years figuring out who wants to pay for this thing. And I compressed 2 years of my life into one slide for you. Here's who wants to pay for this thing. There are some consumers that would want to have a tracker, but it's like, if you're one of those people, you're in the minority. Fitbits end up in the junk drawer. This tracking thing, it's like a lot of work. And that's not what people want. People just want to have good experiences and work out and all that stuff. So it's really a business-to-business thing that we've started. The biggest opportunities in commercial gyms, like Planet Fitness, for example, this past year had a huge RFP. They put a, they get bids from all the equipment companies, and they want to have a smart section of their club so that they can charge a little bit more. You can get your $9 membership, or you can get your $30 membership. But why am I going to pay for the $30 membership? An Equinox on the high end is like wants to have these amenities that are really exceptional, and so they would pay for it. And there's everybody in between, and so gyms want this. They've had this. The cardio section of their gym has been connected for decades, and now they don't have any data on the weight side, so they want that. It's coming. But they're kind of figuring it out still. They're like slow. The people who are really motivated to service them are the equipment companies, because there are really expensive connected strength equipment manufacturers. eGym, Technogym has a solution. There's like a medical grade device called a Biodex. But all that stuff's like 15, 20, 50K. And so the equipment companies all want their solution. So they're the most motivated. They're our first customers. The second one, kind of coming online now. Holy crap, I'm running out of time. Research in healthcare. Also, like the way healthcare gets paid for now, they actually have to demonstrate they're getting you stronger. And so they're really interested. They're like our next customer group. I'm going to fly through. The reason that we stand out and win is because we're this retrofit. So we're this little box. I had it.
Thanks, box.
Okay. So you don't have to buy like a $30,000 piece of equipment. Like this goes onto the equipment. So that's why and we still get all like the same kind of really high resolution data. We've been in the field for 3 years, just kind of like working out the kinks as we get kind of ready to scale up. And our progress has kind of gone. We got a patent on this thing, which has been really useful. We raised a seed round in 2017 as a note. We won a CES Innovation Award because we can actually automatically identify users by how they work out. And then we just, about a month ago, closed on a $2 million Series A. We've got 8 full-time folks, 3 in Ann Arbor, 2 in Evanston, Illinois. One of the guys who works in Illinois, I actually met at A2NewTech a couple years ago. And 3 in Grand Rapids. My ask of the community is we want to hire a senior sales and marketing leader. We're just like undertaking this process. And it's probably a long shot that any of you are senior sales leaders that have experience in commercial gyms and physical therapy. But if you know anybody like that, or frankly, if you have like anything else you want to talk to me about, or people I should meet, or ideas you have, there's my email address, and I'd love to connect with you.
Awesome. All right, what questions do we have for Brian on the north face?
How much does that cost?
This device, so we charge upfront and a monthly. Depends on the market. As much as $100 up front plus $100 a month. We get squeezed on the low end also, especially from volume customers, but that's kind of a benchmark.
Now, does it go from machine to machine?
It's a one-time installation and calibration, so you have to give it a couple data points to calibrate it, but the idea is then you don't touch it again.
Is it for free weights too, or just for machines?
We do have a free weight solution, but it's looking more likely like we're going to partner with somebody else who uses computer vision for that.
Very good.
Curiosity, how does it know how many plates are on the machine?
Yeah, so this measures the tension in the cable or the belt that holds the weight up. The IP is around that. So as you picture, as you lift something on a cable, the tension in the cable goes up and down as you're accelerating the weight up and down, and we interpret that data stream, and that's how we get the force.
Apollo?
Have you thought about any way that you can share this data? The person who's lifting weights can share it with friends and stuff?
Yeah. The value in what we're creating is in the experiences that get layered on top of the data. So like I said in the beginning, less than 10% of people actually care enough to look at the raw data. Those people are very passionate about that, but most people just want some experience. And so there's been a lot of success parts of our business. One of the real struggles we've had is the fact that we've chosen to go to market through partners and rely on other companies to build those experiences using our SDK is the right move, but it's the slow move.
Does it need to be like recalibrated every once in a while as equipment wears? Is that
We're a couple years in, and no, it doesn't. Every time you move it on to something different, you got to tell it. But those cables or belts that they sit on are like, they're not changing.
Right.
You mentioned other experiences on top of the data. With what, for instance? I'm trying to imagine.
Yeah, sure. So the one we've been doing in Ypsilanti, Michigan at Anytime Fitness is a class. So some people want to have a fun class. And so they go in and they just do the workout, and then they get a report afterward that their trainer kind of gives them advice, and it recommends how much weight to use next time to do even better and perform better. Literally, some people are building virtual reality experiences where you go into put on goggles and you have a machine and you're throwing rocks at dinosaurs by going like this, and it's like gamifies it. Some people want to do a leaderboard, like Orange Theory, or there's MyZone. Some people just want a personal trainer, and they want a trainer that can have lay eyes on what they're doing when they're not working out with their trainer. Some people want an app, that gives them workout. Some people want an audio coach. It's like almost unlimited. All of those experiences require some sort of data set on the base of it.
Last question right here.
I may have missed it. What's your IP position look like on this?
Yeah, so this thing is patented, and we've got a whole bunch of, pending stuff around it for different form factors and things like that.
Time for one more quick question.
You're collecting a lot of raw data, it looks like, and I'm thinking as a user, I might have trouble interpreting the raw data, and I'm wondering what you do for analysis and presenting simpler metrics or graphs or whatever that I can interpret.
Yeah. So nobody wants to see the raw data because it's like 1 million data points per workout. Not even the partners we're working with even want to touch that. So we have to package it through an SDK that allows them to pull it into whatever experience you like. So, like I was saying over here, maybe you like an app with some like a couple graphs on it. Maybe you like to throw rocks at dinosaurs. Maybe you like to work with a personal trainer.
For example, is there any statistical analysis built in? So that
Yeah. So all these experiences are different. We have to get it to a very that's like our challenge and our value add is to put it into a package and a standardized data set that other services can pull from. And that's what our SDK does.
I'm not even sure what the metric would be that you want to,
Reps, how much weight,
Yeah.
how many times you lifted it, volume, power work. The physical therapists want to know rate of force development. I mean, it's like crazy. Everybody's different.
Awesome. That's all the time we got. Thank you. Our next presenter is Leon Kasovic from My Guides. And while he's getting set up, let me tell you about My Guides. My Guides is a mobile application that brings together travelers and local guides based on their sets of interests.
Good evening. My name is Leon Kasovic. As it was stated in the introduction, My Guides is a mobile application for iOS and Android, and it seeks to bring together travelers and locals based on a series of preferences and settings or filters. So the idea was conceived in 2013 when, after I graduated from U of M, I traveled overseas to the Balkans, where I'm originally from, and I had a great experience because I had friends and relatives there who showed me around and took me to interesting places and interesting activities. And I noted the difference between going somewhere where you know someone versus going somewhere where you don't know anyone. So I sort of took note of that. And then in 2016, after I graduated from EMU, I began to sort of talk to people about it, talk to small businesses, especially even in sort of tours and travel agencies, and just to sort of get a feel of what the impact of something like this would be. And in 2017, in December, I registered the domain name My Guides after a series of combinations of available domain names. This was the one that was sort of selected most by others, and in a survey, unofficial survey of sorts. And so I registered the domain name and incorporated the company. In January of 2018, I began a work order with AI Software of Troy, and they developed wireframes and mockups for the design. So basically incorporating all the data that I had gathered from talking to people and secondary information that was available out there. And then in April, that was finished, and then I began talking to state and local organizations like the MEDC, which I think oversees Pure Michigan. They seem to be interested once we have something that's viable and tested. Once we launch something and if it gains traction, they seem to be interested in it. And I also then traveled back overseas, basically doing the same thing, talking to developers and potential customers, and sort of testing the idea whether I would launch an MVP here in Detroit or whether I would do it overseas. So I'm basically signed up with also with the Macomo U Incubator for advice. And so the problem basically is the industry problem in tours and activities basically is last minute bookings that occur in destination when people have already traveled. So we sort of seek to solve that. Also having personal guides, one-on-one guides as opposed to being a part of a group. This is, for example, for someone like me who tends to travel by myself, it's an important factor, especially if you're going somewhere where you don't know the language or the local norms or customs. And then the third sort of factor is based on shared interests. So whether you want to do something cultural, historical, shopping, nightlife, family friendly, so on and so forth. So these are sort of all the options that would be offered. So basically, we seek to solve these problems with an on-demand and booking availability with payment, validation, background checks and ratings for guides or locals. We would like to have a lot of guides, a lot of locals sign up, not only in urban areas, but also in rural areas where they offer rural activities and experiences. And then our initial market is singles, couples, single families. But it was brought up to me that people, expats, students, out-of-state students, or out-of-country students, or a business class could be also added to this. Okay, questions?
Awesome. That's about all the time we got. So I think we'll probably get some questions that'll tell us a little bit more about the product. Let's get there. Maybe I'll kick us off with a question. Tell us about the product a little bit.
Okay, so this is the product. It's basically right now. This is really sort of still very early stage, but all of that research has gone into these features. And so the homepage would be a current guides or on-demand guides or booking option, and then there's a more longer-term settings for the number of travelers, cost, language that you want to select, and the shorter-term settings for experiences that you could change even on the same day. And then basically a list or a map of guides comes up, and their price for their service. You confirm the service and make a payment. The payment is held until the service is complete, and that's it.
Excellent. Another question, front row?
I've never used it, but I feel like I've seen on Airbnb's page that they're offering something similar, like experiences as a service.
Right. So Airbnb has experiences, which is basically the difference between that and this would be that Airbnb's experiences are preset. So they are based on events that are already occurring in the local area and whether you want to sign up or participate, be part of it. It may also include a group. So the difference between that and this is a personal guide, a one-on-one interaction between you and a spouse or your family and a local who knows the language and the norms and the customs of the area and also knows what's going on in the area. So they can share that with you.
Other questions? Yes.
It seems like to get this app really valuable, you would need a pretty strong network effect of having guides already available in many areas.
Yeah.
How do you plan on getting that?
Right. Well, the first thing that we have to do is set our parameters for the MVP. So where do we want to launch this? Initially I was sort of enthusiastic and thought maybe in the entire state of Michigan, but the advice that I got back was to focus perhaps on Detroit. and then get the word out there through social media. That's how Uber, for example, did it so it's a peer-to-peer application, right? So we first have to get the guides and then the travelers. And we want to include and incorporate existing businesses because we believe that this is something that could benefit them as well.
Question over here.
Yeah, when is your MVP going to be available?
Well, that depends on whether it's going to be launched here in Detroit or whether it's going to be launched in the Balkans. My sort of relationship with the software developer that I'm currently working with is step by step. So basically, out of this presentation, if there are software developing companies that have firms that have the capacity to launch and maintain an application like this and then eventually scale, that would be great to know about.
Question here.
Do the guides create the tours and events, or is that created by you and then the guides just sign up like an Uber where they check in? And
Yeah, so the guides and the locals go through a similar application process where they select the experiences, the locals or the guides select the experiences that they want to offer. The travelers select the experiences that they want to get. And basically we match those two. The guides are the ones who set the prices for their time. We retain a percentage of that. And they're the ones who can construct a combination of experiences and which would pop up if a traveler is looking for them under that category.
so your primary goal is to connect travelers with local guides?
Yes.
Okay.
Time for one more question. All right, let's get down to round of applause. And for our next presentation, we have Zonder Studios, and Harry Yang is here to present Zonder. So Zonder is an app that lets people earn points by visiting new places and to compete based on travel experiences.
USB here?
Fun fact about Harry, he started this company after coming back from LA 2 years ago, straight into a 1-week power outage in Metro Detroit, and a 30-degree home. So he said he didn't have anything else to do except for think.
To find you. Sorry, give me a second.
It's fine.
Normally it does it automatically. There we go.
Ah, sweet. Which one to start at? F5?
I think F5.
Yeah.
Did that do it?
Didn't do it. All right, guys, I'm here to present my mobile app. It's called Zonder, Collect the World, and it is a mobile app for explorers and people who like to travel. I'm Harry, by the way. So let's start off with the problem. People are shaped by their experiences. Experiences are a big part of people's focus today, especially millennials. Studies show that millennials are starting to spend more money and effort on gaining the most valuable experiences rather than buying and hoarding physical goods. Right now, people use social media to collect and share their experiences with their friends. But the shortcomings of our current social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat is that it's not really accurate or consistent. You can't, not even like the most avid users would be able to post every place that they go to and have a really reliable record of all of their experiences because it requires a lot of manual work and you gotta like just, either post pictures or write something about it. And that prevents a lot of people from like getting a really accurate record. And it's not presented in an organized way where you can use that information intelligently. So for example, let's say you want to go to Rome next month and you wanted to talk to some friends who have been to Rome, but you really don't have any idea of which of your Facebook friends have gone there or not just by looking through Facebook. So until now, this is where Zonda comes in, and it's our solution. It's a mobile app that uses state-of-the-art location services to detect if you are at an attraction. We have in our database over 150 million attractions or working off of Facebook API. And once you're there, it awards you credit for visiting. Our main draw is that it's actually automatic. You do not need to check in, you do not need to post, you don't even need to open your phone, it just needs to be on you. And all the places that you go to will be added to your unique travel profile as a permanent record of your places. And this will be not shared with anyone unless you choose to share it. So our main features is that it's a game. You earn travel XP, which we intend to be a direct measure of how much you've explored compared to other people. You can see your friends' travel progress and achievements, and you can check your own travel history. And we also have a feature where you can view interesting attractions that are close to you that you can visit and earn points for. That's the profile right here. As for our game content, we have our attractions classified into a number of different categories. And visiting these categories, these places will allow you to level up in those categories, showing your friends what you like and what you're experienced in. And we also have hundreds of badges that you can earn, from bronze to gold tier, based on how many times you visit a certain type of place. And later on, we're planning on having a landmarks feature that allow you to collect one of up to 750 different world and regional landmarks and compete in leaderboards for that as well. So, monetization, let's talk about the money. As for our market, we're looking for millennials, 20% of the population, people who have a means to travel, another 20% of the overall world population, and people who are familiar with mobile games. Those are people that would feasibly use our app, and looking about 30% of people. As for how we're going to make money, revenue, we're looking for sponsorships right now to partner with corporations. They can sponsor some special tournaments that we have going on and have their name up there, listed and decorated. And, they can pay up a little bit of money for that. Next year, 2020, we plan on having a premium app with different customizations, things to earn, special progressions, and some extra features. And that'll be a monthly cost for the most avid of travelers. We expect to encourage about 5% of our users to get the premium app. As for marketing, you want to hit that large market as well as we can. So there's a couple of different offline and online techniques that will be used to really hit our target demographic, millennials, travelers, very effectively. All right, so this is our strategy. We're looking right now to, number one, recruit users, and two, find corporate sponsorships, as well as get our seed funding round. We're currently looking for that right now in the order of about 500K. And this is our team. So you can read all that. I'm not going to talk about it, but our team is uniquely qualified to make a game like this. We have a lot of gaming experience between us and programming experience. We want to remain dedicated to the user, make this a really fun and balanced game for everyone to play. And finally, it's actually available today, so you can go get it on Google Play and on the App Store. It is invitation only. We have about 300 early beta testers and users, so you can use the invitation key UMich on the app after you've downloaded it. So you can get it right now while I'm answering questions.
All right, we have writing questions. Start over here.
What's the threshold for having visited a place? Is it a
It's
time and proximity?
going to be, you have to be in the place for a random amount of time between 5 and 8 minutes. Just what we have.
Right here in the corner.
Is there any way to accommodate people who maybe have traveled before they acquired the app? Do they get credit for any of those previous experiences? Or are they at someone?
I've been asked that a lot, but we want to make it as accurate as possible, so there's no fudging of the competition. So we can't have that at any time. But if you log in now, you'll get an advantage over your friends.
Another question right there.
So, yeah. Two questions. How did you arrive at that price point? $1 a year and $4 a month first? And then when do you intend to break even? What are your expenses?
We actually have really low expenses right now. Working with a team that's mostly part-time, But yeah, we plan on raising about $500,000 over the next year. For these expenses, for sponsorships, for example, we're looking at a couple of different events. Maybe charge like a standard advertising price of about 10 to 20 cents per event per user, just to have the name of the company in front of them. And we're going to have maybe 5 or 6 different events or tournaments per year. As for the premium, like I said, we want to hit the magic number of 5% of users getting premium, most likely the most advanced users. So that's what I'm basing that off of.
The ads would be like pop-ups or placement ads?
It'll be placement. So like it'll be like, you know, the winter tournament 2019 sponsored by this company with their logo. And that company will be providing the prizes as well, probably. So it'll be good advertising directly to travelers.
Question in the far back, very last row.
Have you considered a way to get other sponsors, such as promoting some tourist attractions over others?
Yes, we have considered that. That will be something that in the future as well. So certain people who own certain businesses can get their things promoted in certain ways or recommended by our recommendation system.
Another question right there.
So this strikes me as very similar to Ingress and Pokemon Go. How can you compare and contrast how you're similar and different?
Yeah. So Pokemon Go is a game. You go around and you get some Pokemon, but our gameplay is designed to correlate to real life experiences. So it's not really about how much time you spent into playing the game. It really reflects how much time and effort you spend like exploring the world, which is something that people like to do naturally.
Right here.
So do you only get points or rewards the first time you've been somewhere?
Currently, we have a system where you get full credit for the first time, and then 10% credit for the next 10 times you go there, and then it stops. But you can earn like special badges for being repeat visits at a particular place, like a regular. We have special unique badges for that.
Right there. Another question.
Any integration potential with credit card companies or reward agencies like that, companies like that?
We haven't actually looked into that yet. We want the game to be mostly about playing and enjoying the game. And our theory is that putting real life rewards, like let's say you go out to visit a bunch of places and you get, you know, a couple of dollars or cheaper stuff somewhere, like a coupon back, it kind of makes it into like less of a game and more like work. Like I'm doing this to get these discounts. And that makes people think differently about using a product.
Have you thought about segments like climbers, beachgoers, eaters?
We do have these, we currently have 8 travel categories, and water is one of them. Nature is another for people that like to explore like parks, like to explore lakes and the beach. And you can easily like show off to your friends what your level is in those categories. And we have a couple of other ones coming up as well. Yeah.
So there's going to be a strong social aspect to it where you can compete with friends for whoever's got the most new experience reward points.
Yep. Yeah, well, you can compete with friends right now, and later on we're planning on introducing a feature, and by March it allows you to share different places that you visit with your friends, and you can comment on them and influence your friends to travel new places.
All right, that's all the time we got for questions. Thanks, Eric. And our next presentation is McGuider. David Alexander is here to pitch McGuider. McGuider is a streaming diagnostic tool for troubleshooting problems in the field of CNC, construction, heavy machinery, etc.
So, my name is David Alexander, and I'm the co-creator of McGuider. It is a streaming diagnostic communication device. It is for in the industry. It's not for in a safe room or in an engineering department. It is for in the field where everything is dirty and grimy, and you need to answer immediately. Cost for downtime for machines goes into the hundreds of thousands. I know this data from my own father. He did it for 50 years as a service tech. You go, you get sent out there, you get the wrong parts when you get there, you got to send them back, people have to wait in a hotel room. All the money is lost because of miscommunication, people thinking they're giving the correct information when they're not. So we came up with a solution, and that solution is really just a streaming diagnostic tool. It goes right to your smartphone, and then from there in your smartphone, you can connect to anybody in the world. It is an application, so it works with iOS and Android. We did that also so that if someone's calling you, you don't just disregard them. You know it's a real tech problem. Someone's not a sales call. It's not someone just trying to figure out who you are. We made it durable, affordable, and user-friendly. As you can see, there's only 2 buttons on here. One is also for light if you need it. Whoops, that's my prototype. I love this thing. I built it 2 years ago, but it's starting to die on me. And we wanted to make it durable, so it goes into a toolbox. You can toss it around. It's chargeable through a stand. It's waterproof, oil-proof, dust-proof, crush-resistant. We have a patent pending. We were actually in September, I think, of last year we were published. Real simple. End user uses the MacGyver, generates an image on their phone, a real-time streaming image, connects to someone either on a laptop or a tablet, that service technician. That person could be, back at HQ, or it could be the buddy that worked on the machine a week ago that actually knows how that machine was ripped apart and built to, rebuilt for that company. We did a lot of different scenarios for the last few years. We've just been trying to gather as much data as possible. Where could this device be used the most? Service tech, construction, automotive. And you can tell that there's a lot of money involved. I mean, you've got travel costs, you've got the salary of the person, you've got incident costs if it's the wrong parts, they got to get sent back, they got to get reshelved, there's stocking fees. So you can see it gets really expensive to have the wrong information. We beta tested with a company called Scarlett. They gave us some more information on what their trips cost, what it is, what their total machine savings per year was. Now that's per machine, per field service. There's also machines for downtime losses. You can see they really start to add up over time. And for a small business, that can sink you, especially if we start entering a recession. So why now? Well, remote service is taking off. We have emerging solutions. You've probably all seen smart glasses. We all have mobile apps. You've seen FaceTime. We've seen how a lot of this stuff is just going to continue to grow over time. It's not going anywhere. A lot of our competitors that we've kind of see out there, some of these might seem familiar. I think our biggest one we've seen is right now is the DMG Mori. They have an in-house solution just like this, but you can only use it in-house. You cannot use it wherever you want. You have to use their service package. You have to use their provider, basically. A lot of the other ones we've seen with the smart glasses and the mobile applications are more teaching. They want you to send their service techs there. They want to retrain them, re-educate them, and then send them back into the field. That can also be very costly for a small business. Target customers that we've been working towards are Snap-on, Mac Tools, tool suppliers, private clients like GM, CAT. Anka is an Australian-based company. This gives you a little bit more of applications that you've seen, current solutions, smart glasses. Problem with smart glasses, they're very costly and they're not safety. You've got to take them off if you're in the field, and that could be a violation. This is one of the other ones we looked at was DMG Mori. It's a plug and play. They kind of looked exactly like what we were doing. The only difference is they use Wi-Fi. 90% of these guys use Wi-Fi, and there's a problem with Wi-Fi is it's not very secured and you can't go anywhere with it. This, you could be in the boonies, and as long as you have this device that has a 4G or soon to be 5G connection, you're up and running, no issues. And that about wraps it up. On that, are there any questions? I didn't want to go in too deep with only 5 minutes. I'll let you call it.
So is that Bluetooth back to your phone?
No. It is actually, it's part of Wi-Fi back to the phone, so it is a very strong secured connection right there in the local area, and then from there it uses the 4G to 5G connection out. So the reason why is you didn't want to connect to someone else's Wi-Fi in a company, and you're sending information, you could be sending intellectual property over their Wi-Fi, they really could take it from you. So.
Like your own hotspot?
Correct.
So this device connects the operator or worker to the tech sitting in HQ or wherever, and it sort of helps this person to troubleshoot
Yeah, so it could be a tech sitting in HQ, or it could be another service tech that was on that site a week ago. They tend to go there, work, and then they have to go to another job site. And that's the person you really want to talk to, because sometimes you go to HQ and they're going to start you right back at zero and try and walk through everything. And that can be very time consuming. You're already, knee deep into the problem. You need someone that has the answers right then and, is already kind of in the field with you.
Other questions? Right.
Do you have any adapters for mounting it in different ways for just viewpoint? So if you're trying to look inside of some machine to get a unique angle while you're holding your phone and a tool?
Yep, so there are actually, on the bottom there is a magnetic strip that's in case so you can stick it on the walls. And however you put the camera, I can't remember what that's called, but it rewrites it on the phone for you. We also have the ability to put up a borescope in there, so if you really wanted to get into a machine, you can just hook a 3-foot borescope onto it, go right back in, and you're going to see everything is crystal clear on your device. So as long as your device isn't cracked or messed up, you see it right here. The nice thing is it doesn't have to have you and some, holding both. Someone could be on the other side of the room, they could be across the street, depending on how far away, and you get to see it, and then you connect directly to anybody or multiple people right from your device here.
Right here?
The service technician side that's, somewhere else, they're remote, right? What's their experience like? Do they need the app as well?
Yes, so both people would need the app, and that's really easy. So with the MacGyver app is it does connect to your contacts, and if it's someone new, it sends them an invitation, they click on the link, they download the app right there, and they're connected to you automatically. So the receiver can see exactly what the sender is showing them and talk them through it, so there's no more confusion of, is that a green wire, is that a blue wire? No, it's the wire you're touching, that's the wire. Or in other cases, which we've also found, the receiver sees a few steps ahead and can say, hey, that's a problem. Once you get the board back in, you need to check that x-axis because the machine's going to hit it and you'll have another problem after that. So sometimes we actually get a couple problems solved just by seeing what's going on instead of trusting what someone's telling us over the phone.
Do you sell the device and the app is free, or the device is free and you pay transactionally for the app?
So it's actually both. You pay for the device and there's a monthly service. Right now, we in our marketing and in our testing, we saw that the device could go for about $500 and $40 a month for streaming. Now that would be different, and we're talking with Ford. They have their own systems and they want their own security, their own IT. So we would probably be licensing the software to them, and then they would have full control and secure over their own systems, and then just providing devices as needed.
Other questions? Yeah, one right here.
So it's streaming the video, is that going through a central service, or is it really just like a person-to-person through the native phone?
When it's on one-on-one, it's pretty much person-to-person. We can have it do through a server, and it can be saved. So one of the features of the app also is that the individual can take screenshots or save video on either end. That could be used later on for teaching. So you may run across a weird problem, and it's like, hey, we want to keep that. So when you bring in somebody new or a rookie, you can show them, like, this was something on a machine that's 30 years old. We don't make it anymore, but this is common breakdown. Or a warranty issue. You may, go in there and you see that the lock was cut on something by that company. You want to be able to show proof and say, this is not covered under warranty. You guys messed with the machine.
All right, that's all the time we got.
Awesome. Thank you.
And then our last pitch of the evening is Michael Tyker pitching Medex. And the Medex is a high-precision irradiation therapy for breast cancer treatment. And Michael actually has lots of fun facts about it. So talk to him afterwards to learn more of them. But here's just a few while he's getting set up. In college, he transported organs in summers for free trips to Europe. Also, while in college, he worked on major production films like The Birdcage and True Lies, and even had a snapshot in Ace Ventura in return for free food and great pay on Miami Beach.
Thanks for the intro. And this is my first time at this event, and I will say it's outstanding. I'll definitely be following up here.
Great.
1 in 8 women will be diagnosed this year with breast cancer. Conversely, 7 out of 8 women will be diagnosed in their lifetime. 500,000 women this year globally will die from breast cancer, and notably in the country with the best doctors, the best devices, the best prescriptions, what's equivalent to a 747 will go down every single week in this country of our mothers, daughters, sisters, and friends from a disease, breast cancer, that has a 92% success rate in curing. At UMich, we believe that women around the world should have better access to highly effective radiation that's cost-effective and easy to use. Most importantly, a therapy that limits secondary dose to the heart and lung. Just last year, the American Heart Association, for the first time ever, warned women during the therapies of secondary dose complications such as cardiovascular disease and heart failure. Introducing the mammal knife, which is the definition of innovation and will change the course of industry. It is the world's first self-shielded linear accelerator-based device that will treat women in the prone position. What's different? First off, the prone position. By treating in prone, which is a number of clinical efficacies, written numerous academics, we limit the dose to heart and lung, isolating the breast. The unit will have integrated imaging, eliminating the need for a secondary CT simulator and allowing for more targeted therapies. We will treat the women with a 360-degree rotation. Why that matters is currently scarring and dermatitis is a known side effect. By treating in 360, we spread the dose effectively, minimizing those complications. Most importantly, the device is self-shielded. Why that matters is it could be deployed anywhere. Currently, bunkers could cost in excess of $5 million and require a hell of a lot of space. When you're talking about somewhere like, I don't know, urban New York, it's a very difficult task to come through. I mentioned earlier a 92% success rate, which is skewed when you incorporate the numbers throughout the country. This is just in the US. Over 1/5 the population live in rural America, yet 3% of radiation oncologists reside there. Women generally travel an hour for treatments which require daily. The impact on families is immense. We have a solution. Because our device is self-shielded, it can be deployed in a mobile system. We could bring this to any local community hospital, medical center, a Walmart parking lot if that's what it took, to treat women in these areas cost-effectively, and most importantly, on a global basis, it could be deployed anywhere. The device was created, one of our founders' mothers was diagnosed with breast cancer, and because of their physics background, treating in prone was very important to them. They designed the first prone breast contoured board, trademarked the Clearview, which was sold very quickly to over 150 of the most recognized academic institutions. The feedback that we got was we wish we had a dedicated device. With a $2.4 million grant and reinvestment for all prone breast boards, the dedicated device was created, not just created, but a self-shielding environment alongside of it. IP patents have been issued, and additional IP will be filed following our seed round. The market is immense. 25 to 35% of all cases in radiation centers are breast. 17,000 Linux linear accelerators are available in the world today, which is still short from what's needed, and nearly 10% of them will be replaced each and every year. 10% of this market alone is over a $4 billion market opportunity, not to mention what we could do with the mobile system. Our management team and founding engineers have a long and seasoned history in medical device, creating devices that have yielded over $7 billion in revenue. One of them sitting right here, a 30-year professor from this fine institution we sit at. Our company was founded in 2016 and was quickly engaged by the McLaren Health System here in Michigan to complete a complex proton therapy center up in Flint and design an innovative cone beam CT imaging system alongside of it. I'm happy to say that in 2018, in December of last year, both patient treatment started and we were awarded 510K from the FDA for that system. Our engineers will now focus on the mammo knife. We're currently seeking a $1.5 million convertible note that will convert into a Series A, sometime at the latter part of this year. What we know is every minute a woman dies from breast cancer. That is a big problem. That's the problem we're going to solve. Thanks.
All right, questions for Michael? Right here, front row.
Based on the interesting facts you've read, how did you get into this?
So, you know, Steve Jobs has a quote, you can't connect the dots looking forward. When I decided to get serious about my life, I went into finance. I worked at Bear Stearns. I quickly was coded into healthcare banking, intermediate companies that were looking at an inflection point financing. What I found were there were great companies and there were not great companies. And I found myself working more closely with their CEO strategically. That led me to eventually, about 8 years ago, leaving finance to as a turnaround executive. One of the companies I turned around was right here in Ann Arbor. Another company actually was the one that installed that proton center that we wound up having to go in and fix. So it was just a random, odd set of events that led me here to you today.
This isn't a question, but unless I'm mishearing you, a lot of your statistics are off by an order of magnitude.
They're all sourced.
Did you say that 1 in 8 women will get diagnosed with breast cancer this year?
Yes.
It's in their lifetimes.
1 in 8 this year, but we can run through that.
Question back there.
Does your device have any diagnostic capabilities, or is it only for treatment?
So right now, we will just use it for patient positioning. So essentially identifying what the X, Y, and Z axis are for beam. Eventually, we will look to make this as a diagnostic to have it as a dual use.
You said you sold 150 units at what point?
Yes. No. Those, the breast boards were about 25,000 each.
Oh, 20, so
Yeah.
150 or 25,000. So is any of these hospitals or anything, offering the actual, was it a mobile unit?
I'm sorry?
You're selling a mobile unit, is that correct?
So the mobile unit, we're right now going to be selling the static device. The mobile unit will be secondary. Generally what we'll look for the mobile unit, when you look at community hospitals that are operating on less than 1% margins, their biggest issue is capital expenditure and big device. So women in rural areas don't get the most effective treatments because they don't have the capital to buy large-scale devices. Well, the intention with the mobile device is to work with community hospitals and essentially link up 1 or 2 days a week where they're hypofractionating, they're putting larger dose in shorter spans, so that these women would have access to the most effective treatments at the lowest cost. Does that make sense?
Yeah, my wife had, she had breast cancer, and she went to, she had to have the radiation, we have a local hospital to go to, so I was thinking this is more for a rural, like you're seeing in a rural area, smaller hospitals, it's really not for a retro center, I don't think, right?
It's going to be interesting who takes it on. I mean, because the device could be deployed, I mean, the testing we've done on the initial prototype, you could put it generally in a room like this. I mean, it's the unit is self-shielded. So one of the issues with community hospitals is also space. So they may look to lease for a time period the mobile system until they have patient volume to support their own unit.
So there is, I think, like radiation physicists who are calculating the radiation dose. And my understanding is that's like the most expensive part from the whole therapy. So how are you going to get those people to like rural areas to actually operate the device?
So treatment planning, we will integrate with 3 of the most highest volume treatment planning systems that are currently out there. Depending on the healthcare system will determine the way that they want to follow that protocol. We have no intention of influencing their current workflows.
Who's your buyer? Is it pathology, radiology, oncology?
Radiation oncology. Yes.
How much cheaper is your solution compared to the current equipment?
So currently, if you look at a traditional linear accelerator, you're looking at anywhere between $3 to $5 million. An additional CT simulator is anywhere between $1 to $2 million. And then the bunker itself could be anywhere between $2 to $5 million. So you're looking at about a $10 to $12 million investment, plus the time and effort it takes to both build it, permitting, and so on. Our device will list at $2.5 million with a CT simulator integrated into it, without the need for any bunker. So right now, we're be the existing lowest cost per fraction.
And it's the same effectiveness.
I'm sorry?
It's just as effective.
Yeah, so we're using a traditional 6 megavolt linear accelerator.
All right, that's all the time we got. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so let's transition to our community announcements time. If you have an announcement you'd like to make, please line up over here in front of the whiteboard. And so this is for an announcement about a meetup or a position you're hiring for. You're looking for a collaborator. You're hiring for something. You want to promote an event. Please make your 1 to 2 minute announcement, and then, like I said, we'll have the first person come up, stand behind the desk so we can pick you up on the recording. And then once you're finished, feel free to write up your information over here on the right side whiteboard so people can get in touch with you if they need to afterwards. So first person, go on, step right up and you can make your announcement.
Hello, my name is Glenn Keim, and I have a new company called Inspired IT of Ann Arbor. I'm looking for people who are just starting a new business and who'd like to get started safe from threats like ransomware without having to spend a lot of time worrying about it. I can help you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm John Wengel. I work at Alpha Django, and we're a company that's 10 years old, and we've been building startups for those 10 years. We are looking for early stage startups. Typically, a lot of the software companies that are around here don't work with them because the projects are too small, and we work with them and we'll help you. We do give a lot of advice to early stage people, so come by if you have any questions. That is all free. We'd love to talk to you. And I'm looking at
Hi, I'm Russell Schindler, and I run a tech group up in Traverse City, Michigan called A2NewTech. It basically is almost the exact same format as this. There are some differences. We get a whole bunch of millionaires and 1 billionaire that shows up at every month, and a lot of people are getting funded. Last month we had 220 people in the audience, and we gave away $6,500. So we have $500 prize money every month, and then there's other donations and things. I can't guarantee $6,000 next month, but it's definitely worth your while. Next month is actually Medical Technology Month. We actually have themes on occasion. So if you want to come up next month, we might be able to arrange that. So it's the first Tuesday of every month. So if you're interested, come see me. It's actually tcnewtech.org. You can go to that website and you can sign up there as well.
Hi everyone, I'm Dani and I'm here to represent A2NewTech. We are a non-profit organization and our mission is to accelerate healthcare innovation within the greater community. And we also would like to support startups. We're doing this by organizing monthly meetups, and we also have an annual hackathon, usually like in late summer. If you are interested in mentoring, volunteering, or participating, you can check out our website, which is a2healthhacks.org. You can come check out our meetups, or you can find me afterwards and we can talk about it. Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Scott Ngosi and I got a couple quick announcements. One, if you like the startups you saw here today and want to build your own, but you don't know how to code, there's a meetup for that. Me and Michelle run Ann Arbor Coffee House Coders, which meets tomorrow and every other Wednesday after that, and can teach you to learn how to code. So come on by, it's on Meetup as well. I'll post it in the comments afterwards on this Meetup too as well. Secondly, let's say you're a startup, you're growing rapidly, you don't have enough space, you don't have enough office space. Well, there's a co-working space for you. I also co-organized the Tech Brewery, which is a co-working space up on Jones Drive, which was where Duo Security was founded. So we get to say that our co-working space has funded $1 billion startup. So, if you want to be part of this vibrant community and be the next unicorn, come check us out on Jones Drive. That'll be techbrewery.org, and I'll put it in the comments too as well. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Dan Thomas. I've been in business for myself for just over a year now. I'm an independent developer and consultant. Before that, I worked as a mechanical engineer for 10 years, which gave me a lot of project management experience, as well as giving me the ability to just visualize a lot of abstract things. And I've applied all that to my current focus is business intelligence, as well as visualization and historic analysis, and I'm getting a lot better at predictive analysis. And I may have a slot for another potential client within the next 6 months. That's it. Thank you. Real quick, Scott Gosey actually helped me make my first scraper about 2 years ago, I believe.
Copy us coders too as well. So.
Yeah, there's something to be said for what Scott does. So.
All right, awesome. Thanks for the community announcements. Great pitches tonight, folks. As we wrap up, like I said, Ann Arbor NewTech is every third Tuesday of the month. So our next A2NewTech meetup is Tuesday, February 19th. So mark your calendars now. Right now, at this very moment, we have spaces open for pitches in February and March. February is filling up pretty quick, but would love to hear your pitch idea. Or if you know someone who should pitch, email us at organizers@a2newtech.org. That's organizers@a2newtech.org. And we can figure out if you're at the right stage to pitch here. Our criteria generally for people that pitch here is that you've done some customer validation, spoken with some prospective customers, and ideally, hopefully you've built a prototype out. Get in touch with us, let us know about your pitch idea, and we have a good pipeline of people going right now for future pitches, but would love to hear who else is interested. Like I mentioned before, the pitches, in the meantime, before next month, you can find us at madeina2.com/Slack, find our Slack channel there. If you haven't before done this, check out madeina2.com. It's kind of a directory, a central directory for tech companies in Ann Arbor, so you might learn about a couple companies you don't know about. You can search there and see their websites. Before we finish, show of hands, who's planning to join us over at Pizza House tonight so we can get a sense of how many pizzas to have ready? Okay, excellent. Alrighty, folks, see you at Pizza House or see you next month. Thank you.